property tycoon Thomas Kwok is back in jail after losing his final appeal in the Rafael Hui misconduct case. The city's top court also dismissed the appeals filed by Hui and two others. Caleb Long has more.
I'm anxious, but I sleep well yesterday night, and just cross your finger and hope for the best.
Property tycoon Thomas Kwok put on a brave face this morning, arrived at the Court of Appeal. He had been out on $10 million bail since July last year after being fined $500,000 and sentenced to 5 years in prison in December 2014 for conspiring with Rafael Hui to commit misconduct in public office. As for Hui, former Sun Hung Kai Executive Director Thomas Chan, and stock exchange official Francis Kwan, they are all concurrently serving time for other charges. The appeal centered on one charge, a joint count of conspiracy to commit misconduct in public office, and $8.5 million Kwok Hui through Chen and Kwan before Hui took up the post of Chief Secretary for Administration in 2005. The five-member panel, led by Chief Justice Jeffrey Ma, wrote in a judgment that Hui, by agreeing to place himself in such a compromised state, had made an agreement which contemplated a continuing act of misconduct while he was Chief Secretary. The court noted that Hui was privy to highly confidential information in relation to matters in which Sun Hung Kai Properties had substantial interest. The judgment said Hui conspired to commit an act of misconduct by accepting the payment, which the court described as golden feathers. Noting that Kwok was on bail, Justice Ma ordered that the tycoon be sent back to prison. The tycoon's son and daughter accompanied him to the courthouse to hear his fate this morning. Adam Kwok told reporters that the family respected the court's decision, but had some grievances about it.
Even though we think that the trial, that there was a lot of misdirection to the jury in the original trial that led to an unsafe verdict. Verdict of whether the payment was, consultancy or whether it was a bribe was the trial process and the way that it was presented to the jury was not fair.
Before entering the courthouse this morning, Thomas Kwok said his wife's birthday was this weekend and he hoped the family could celebrate together. But with today's court decision, they were denied that chance. Caleb Bloom, TVB News.
The Labor Secretary has dismissed criticism that a government plan for low-wage workers will make no difference. It's to do with them entering into written contracts with their bosses over their working hours and overtime compensation. Meanwhile, Hong Kong's number official added there is no room to revise the income threshold for the policy. Anna Marie Sim reports.
The proposal, which was approved by the Executive Council yesterday, compels by law employers to enter into written contracts with employees earning $11,000 or less per month. The contract will outline the number of working hours and the calculation of overtime compensation. Overtime pay should be the same hourly rate as normal working hours or more. Unionists are up in arms over the plan, which they say fails to solve the issue of long working hours, since working hours haven't been standardized yet. The government says its proposal will benefit around 550,000 workers, or 14% of the city's workforce, but unionists say that's too small. Still, the Labour chief insisted today that the scheme was just the first step and that its effectiveness could be reviewed further down the line.
I think that will be a good step forward to improve our working hours arrangement, including its transparency and the suitable number of hours.
He added that talks would start soon between 11 sectors and workers' groups.
We also asked the Labour Department to make use of the tripartite sector-specific committees in 9 sectors, and also we'll add 2 new sectors, which will include the cleansing service and elderly service, to discuss the appropriate working hour standards and also the overtime compensation arrangements.
Hong Kong's number 2 official today also touted the proposal as a breakthrough first step that wasn't set in stone.
I would say the wage level of $11,000, it's a prudent starting point. It's not an ending point, it's a starting point. Keep in mind that the wage level of $11,000 is based on last year's figures. So by the time when the bill is implemented, say when the whole measure is implemented by the year end of 2020, we will take account of the wage existing at that time to see whether there is any room for upward revision of the level.
But that revision will be left up to the next administration to deal with. The plan, as it stands, is expected to be submitted to the Legislative Council in the latter half of next year, and if endorsed, will be implemented in late 2020. Anne-Marie Sim, TVB News.